Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jana Ballabha Nivaradhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Matira Vanachari Jamuna Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Radhika Raman, Radhika Krishna Vanamali Giriju Ki Jai Ho. Om Agana Timirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chakshu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Maha Vandanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gaura Tavashe Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. First of all, I'd like to offer my heartfelt Puspanjali to the lotus feet of my Harinam Diksha Guru, my everything, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, our Srila Prabhupada. Second of all, to my Bhajan Shiksha Guru, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, our Gurudev. To Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, to our entire Guru Parampara, and especially to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and his Madhurya Kadambini. And today, especially to Sri Navadvipa Dham, because right now most devotees are down there in Navadvip, and they're engaging in Navadvip Parikrama. Gaur Purnima is coming soon on Tuesday, so we're in the mood of Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. So I spoke about this once before. I was going to speak a little bit about Navadvipa Dham and the glories of Navadvipa Dham and Navadvipa Parikrama before we start the Madhurya Kadambini. So the Dham is manifested by the spiritual energy of Krishna. When Krishna decides to come to the material world, he brings his Dham, his eternal transcendental Dham with him. Sri Vrindavana-Vilasini. And this is Sham Krishna. And when he comes as Gaur Krishna, he brings Navadvipa. And actually they're non-different. It's just like when you have a jewel and you're turning the jewel and there's different aspects. So it's all one tattva. But you have sometimes Navadvipa Dham is prominent and sometimes Vrindavan is prominent. And it's a matter of mood, actually. As we know, in Vrindavan, the mood of Madhurya is prominent. Audharya is there, but Madhurya is prominent. Whereas in Navadvipa, Madhurya is there, but Audharya is prominent. That's compassion and mercy. So, by the mercy also of his beloved Advaita Acharya, Advaita Acharya came before Gaura Krishna. Krishna was going to come. Okay, I'm going to come in Kali Yuga. I'm going to taste the moods of my beloved Srimati Radhika. We're going to manifest the Yuga Dharma, chanting the holy name. But when I'm going to come, not sure. But first came his seniors, right? Jagannath Mishra, Sachi Mata, Haridas Thakur, Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur, Chandrasekhar Prabhu, all of his elders came. And when Advaita Acharya, who is Vishnu Tattva, Mahavishnu, Sadashiva, when he saw the condition of the material world, even in Navadvipa, it had degraded. It was so degraded that they were even, this is from the Chaitanya Bhagavat, they were engaging in such foolish activities as the marriages of their cats and dogs. I mean, how degraded, how worthless, And they were not engaging in religious activities. And even if they were very materially motivated. So he was very, very upset. And so he started worshipping his Shalagram Shila with Ganga water and Tulsi. Because he knew if you please Krishna with Ganga water and Tulsi, he becomes very, very pleased. But what was he doing? He wasn't just silently worshipping. He was yelling. He was yelling so loud, everything was, Krishna in Vrindavan, he was getting a bit disturbed. It says he was on his throne, but I guess his flower throne was shaking. And so now, Advaita Acharya was threatening, if you don't come, I'm going to destroy everyone and everything. Because he's Sadashiva. So he can do that, right? So Krishna, I'm coming. I'm coming. So he came on Gaur Purnima, right? And to inaugurate the chanting of the holy name, the Yuga Dharma, what did he do? What did he arrange? Eclipse, Grahan, Rahu came, yes. And so because of the eclipse in India, in Bharatvarsh, not around the world, but in Bharatvarsh, everyone traditionally goes to take bath in the ocean, the Ganga, the Jamuna, the holy rivers, and chant the holy name loudly. So when he came, everyone, everywhere was chanting, taking bath in the Ganga, the Jamuna, wherever they were, in the ocean. So he came, and he appeared as Sachinandan Gaur Hari. He came to fulfill his own desires. Because as Krishna, being the enjoyer, he was enjoying all the rasas, right? Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya ras. But he could see that his beloved Srimati Radhika was enjoying more than him, was tasting more than him. How is this? I am the emporium of ras. Everything's coming from me. How is it? I attract everyone, but she's attracting me. I'm giving pleasure to all the other gopis. I'm fulfilling their desires. But when I see Radhika, I have so many desires, I have to go to her to taste ras. She fulfills my desires. Like this. How is this? I want to understand. I want to taste this. Because Krishna is very tricky. And he wants to taste everything. He wants to enjoy everything. So it was impossible for him to understand and enjoy the moods of Srimati Radhika. How greatness is her love. Madanaki Mahabhav. When she sees a tamal tree and she's in separation, because it's a dark sham color, she embraces the tamal tree, thinking as Krishna. Extraordinary. This is Madanaki Mahabhav. It's described in Rupa Goswami's Ujjvala Nilamani. Unbelievable moods of praying. Only Srimati Radhika has it. Not even Lalita, Vishaka, no one has it. Except for her kinkaris, her manjaris have a little bit. Because if they didn't have this, then they couldn't serve Jugal Kishore in their intimate pastimes. So they have some, but not to the full extent like Srimati Radhika. So he becomes, Krishna's always curious about things, right? So I want to experience the happiness that she feels, when she's serving me. I want to understand what it is in me that she finds so delightful. Even though sometimes I leave her and I go enjoy with other gopis, still, I am her Nath, I'm her Lord. She'll never give me up. What kind of love is this? You see? So then he comes as Gaur Hari to taste these moods of Srimati Radhika. And this is going on in his heart as Sachinandan Gaur Hari in Navadvipa and also in Puri. It's always there, and this is who he is. He is Krishna. He's Krishna. But there's a beautiful verse by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that explains, it's really beautiful. It's in his Sankalpa Kalpadruma. It's verse 95. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is praying, "Oh Nanda Nandan," that means Krishna. "Oh son of Nanda Baba, because you're always controlled by the sweetness of Srimati Radhika's embrace. You're always controlled by this sweetness. You have adopted her mood and complexion, and you become Gaur Hari, the ocean of compassion." And the word that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the name that he calls Nandanandan in this mood is Gaur Dayanidhi. He's Gaur because he's golden, because of her, he's adopted her complexion, right? And he's Dayanidhi, the ocean of mercy, because of her moods, because she is the most merciful, right? So he's become Gaur Dayanidhi. And so Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur prays, "Gaur Dayanidhi, please, please make the creeper of my cherished desires reach completion, reach perfection." Gaur Dayanidhi. Beautiful name, isn't it? The ocean of mercy, Gaur. And this Gaur is, there's a verse, it's in the Archana Deepika, we all know it, it's in all of our songbooks. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. Yeah, but it's that first part. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. This Gaur, this is Srimati Gaurangi. Why? Tapta, it's this gold is boiling and boiling, becoming more and more intense. This gold, molten gold, and the color is shining and more bright. As Gaurangi or Gauranga. You see, he becomes this Gaur, like this. Vrindavaneshwari, Gaurangi. And why is, because of her intense, ever increasing, even though her love is the topmost limit, yet, Rupa Goswami explains, it is ever increasing. How is this? How is this? It's astonishing. Her prema is astonishing. Unlimited, ever fresh. We can't even imagine, because here we are in the conditioned, in our conditioned material body. And we're limited, completely limited by Maya, that which you can measure. Height, breadth, width, like this. We cannot even begin to imagine or fathom something that's unlimited, ever fresh, ever increasing. That is Srimati Radhika's love, prem. It astonishes even Krishna, like this. So when we're talking about Navadvipa, about Mahaprabhu's Leela, his Dham, really we have to go into the essence of who is Srimati Radhika. Because this is Gaur. This is Gaur Dham, Gaur Nam, Gaur Kam, Gaur Prem. We're talking then about Krishna trying to understand Srimati Radhika. And so Navadvipa is called Gupta Vrindavan, hidden Vrindavan, right? Audorya Dham, where mercy is given. Because our what do you call it? The word just came and went. The purpose of our life, right, is to actually attain Braj Prem, eternal residence in Braj, and our eternal seva to Radha and Krishna. But why is it that we're not attaining it? We're not attaining it, the conditioned souls, because we have offenses. We're so covered with offenses. We've come to the material world covered by ignorance, avidya. And even if we start practicing austerities for millions of lifetimes, we will not be able to attain Braj Prem and Vrindavan. It's not possible. It's just too beyond our capacity. So that's why Vrindavan manifests herself in her compassionate nature to give us a chance. Madhurya Dham, merciful Dham, compassionate Dham. And Krishna comes as Gaur Hari, Gaur Doyanidhi, to give that compassion. And he brings all of his associates with him. He brings Balaram with him, Akhanda Guru Tattva, as we know, Nitai. Nitai. Nitai is Akhanda Guru Tattva. He is the proprietor of Navadvipa. Navadvipa is his. So, first of all, we need residence in Navadvipa. How can we have residence even in Navadvipa without the mercy of Sri Guru? Without the mercy of Sri Guru, we wouldn't even know about Navadvipa, would we? If you look on a map in the material world, they don't even have Navadvipa, it's not even there. Calcutta would be there, maybe Krishnanagar is there, but not Navadvipa. It's this tiny, tiny spot on the Ganga, very insignificant in the material world. But if you read Jaiva Dharma, in the beginning of Jaiva Dharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Saptam Goswami, Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Kamala Manjari reveals that in this whole universe, the most important place is the Bhu Mandal, that's the middle planetary system. And within that, Jambu Dweep is the most important dweep. Very special. And within Jambu Dweep, what is the most important place? Gaur Mandal, Gaur Bhumi. And within there, the most important place, Navadvipa. Navadvipa is the most important in the universe. But only, that's a secret. It's an open secret, but it's a secret only the sadhus know. Only Sri Guru and the Vaishnava knows. It's hidden. Because this is the desire of Krishna. He doesn't want these things to be openly given before he manifests as Mahaprabhu. And even while he's here, it's still very confidential. But after he leaves, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining in his Navadvipa Mahatmya, then he gave the signal, Nitai gave the signal, okay, now we can manifest the glories of Navadvipa, the glories of Mahaprabhu. Now they can be, you can show where in the Shastras it was there, but it was hidden, like this. This is the mercy of Nitai Gaur. Nitai. And look what happened. Nitai Gaur, they were going, especially Nitai, Haridas Thakur, going house to house, knocking on the doors in Navadvipa. Please chant Gaur. Please worship Gaur. Worship Krishna. Make him your life and soul. This is only alms I beg. Please give me this. But they were in Navadvipa. Of course, Mahaprabhu later, when he took sannyas, he went all over India himself, bestowing prema, asking him, please chant Hare Krishna. But that was just in Bharat Vars. But down through the Rupanuga Gaudiya Vaishnavas by the order of Nitai, Nityananda. What happened? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he ordered his disciples, spread this message all over the world. Take it outside of Bharat Vars. First, Bhakti Pradeep Tirtha Maharaj went. Bhakti Shranga Goswami Maharaj, Sri Daiban Goswami Maharaj went. Then my own Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada went. And what were they doing? And also Bhakti Vaibhav Goswami Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, so many. And what are they doing? The same thing that Nitai and Haridas were doing. Knock, 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 knock. Oh, here's a Bhagavad Gita. Please chant Hare Krishna. Please try and offer everything to God, to Krishna. All in Spain, in Italy, in America, South America, in Africa, all over the world. You know, they're going knock, 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 you know, door to door. They're out in the streets. They're just going, please. It's the same message. The message doesn't change. It's the message of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhakti Shastras. This is the foundation. And from that comes everything. Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the books of Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, all the Bhakti Shastras that are coming from that. But the basis, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Because with this knowledge, then one can become a little detached from material sense gratification. And one become qualified and attain the desire by the mercy of Guru, empowered by Nityananda, Rupa Goswami. What happens? The jiva wakes up. Oh, because we need sambandha. One cannot actually be in Navadvipa without sambandha. There's many persons in Navadvipa who actually are not in Navadvipa. They're on the net of Maya. Only with sambandha of understanding who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually is can enter into Navadvipa. That comes by the mercy of Nitai. Narottam Das Thakur has taught us this, isn't it? In his Gauranga Bolite Hobe. When, oh when is Nitai going to give me mercy? When will I receive it? And then my samsara will be gone. Then my mind is purified. Then I can go to Vrindavan. So we go to Navadvipa by the mercy of Shri Guru. Srila Prabhupada first, he took Navadvipa all over the world. And everyone's going, oh, Navadvipa, never heard of that. Vrindavan. Oh, these are the very important places? Oh, Dham, what's a Dham? Dham, a holy place? Never heard of that. Oh, well, yeah, Jesus Christ, oh yeah, there's Jerusalem and there's Mecca and, you know, little something like this. But he said, no, the Dham, where Krishna himself appears. Not material, spiritual, totally transcendental place. But you need mercy to go there. So Prabhupada first, he gave us the mercy. And he gave us the desire. He instilled that desire. Oh, I need to go to Navadvipa. I need to bathe in the Ganga. By bathing in the Ganga, all of our material desires go. She gives qualification to be able to eventually serve and taste Braj Ras. All the dust of Navadvipa, completely transcendental, wanting to give mercy, wanting to purify. So we go and roll in the dust of Navadvipa. Why? That's the foot dust of all the sadhus, all the Gaur Bhaktas, isn't it? The foot dust of Haridas Thakur, Nitai, Gadadhar, Mahaprabhu himself, Advaitacharya, Srivas, Vakrashar Pandit. All of their foot dust is there. And in Gaur Leela that's in the Prakat, it's in external Vrindavan. Because the Goswamis are here. The Goswamis in Prakat Leela were not really much in Navadvipa, only Lokanath Goswami and Bhugarba Goswami. Rupa Goswami was born in Ramkeli, far away. Went to Prayag, then came to Vrindavan, went to Puri once. But they're in Vrindavan. But within Gaur Leela, in Gaur Leela, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana, this part of Gaur Leela, where Rupa Goswami is, Rupa and Sanatana, they're the proprietors of Vrindavan. And the proprietor of Puri is Swarup Damodar. So, but Swarup Damodar, he was in Navadvipa, we get his foot dust. And in Aprakat Navadvipa, they're all there. Everyone is there. The Goswamis, everyone in Aprakat Navadvipa, not in Prakat. Like this, they're all there, serving Mahaprabhu in his eternal Astakaliya Leela. He also has Astakaliya Leela, where he's tasting Hari Mangala Sankirtan, like this. So we go to Navadvipa, And what do? We visit all the different holy places. Mayapur, Antardweep. And all the different islands, the 9 islands, represent the 9 processes of devotional service, right? This is the mercy of who? Who is Bhakti Devi? Because the 9 processes of Bhakti. Srimati Radhika, she is the personification of Bhakti Devi. You see? That's her unmanifested form, is Bhakti Devi. That's her mercy. So it's her place, really, in her unmanifested form. Gupta. Gupta, everything's Gupta in Navadvipa. All the places of Vrindavan are there. All the associates are there, right? Yasodamai, Sachi Mata, Nanda Baba, Jagannath Misra. They're all there. Balaram, Nitai, Radharani Gadadhar. Everyone's there. Ananga Manjari, Janava. Everyone's there. But they're hidden. And now the mood is different. In Vrindavan, they're absorbed in Prem Seva, just serving, giving pleasure to Krishna. They have no time. Anything else. But in Navadvip, they're giving. They're giving. So we go to Navadvip, and the associates of Gaur, they give. They say, oh, here, let me tell you a secret. You're not, then they speak Bhagavad Gita, they speak Srimad Bhagavatam, they speak the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. Like this. Oh, yes. Over here is Srivasangam. In Srivasangam, Mahaprabhu had his Sankirtan pastimes day, in the nighttime, all night. And at first no one could go. Only the special devotees could go. And later he opened up, right, when the Chandkazi broke the drum. And he had his march with all the fire, with the torches and Sankirtan, and they went and purified Chandkazi. Then Sankirtan became open. Everyone was chanting like this. This is there in Mayapur Antardweep. And Mayapur Antardweep represents Atma Nivedanam, self-surrender, complete surrender. But what it means for us as conditioned souls, when we go there, is it means our first surrender, accepting this process. Because there's 2 processes of Atma Nivedanam. First is the first surrender, right? And from there, we start practicing. We Shraddha, we get some Shraddha, transcendental Shraddha. Some taste, a little something comes. And so then we move on, to Simantadweep. This is hearing. And so we start hearing. And this is where, first in Mayapur Antardweep, so many confidential pastimes also took place. That is where, before the advent of Mahaprabhu, who went there? Brahma. Lord Brahma, our Adi Guru. We're in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So what did our original Guru do? He had invented Krishna and Krishna Lila. He had stole his cowherd boys and cows. He went to Mayapur Antardweep and he did his austerities. He said, I don't want to make this mistake again. I don't want this false ego. I just don't want this. So giving up the false ego, go to Mayapur Antardweep. And Mahaprabhu, Satchidananda Gauri, became so pleased, he revealed himself. Because he's eternal. It's not that he isn't there before he makes his advent like 500 years ago. He's eternally in Navadvip. Navadvip is his eternal abode, where his pastimes are eternally going on. But he also has his pastime of appearing and his Prakat Lila. But his Aprakat Lila is always going on, always going on. So he appeared to Lord Brahma. He said, okay, I will grant your wish. You don't want to have any false ego. You'll be born in the family of Muslim family. You'll always feel yourself low, always low, but you'll always be chanting the holy name. You are Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. Mayapur Antardweep. That's the hidden secret. That's why it's called Antar. It's in, secret. Lord Brahma. Then you go to Samantadweep. What happened there? Who was there before the advent of Mahaprabhu? Parvati. Parvati had heard the glories. She had heard her husband, Lord Shiva, going gore, 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 and dancing and dancing. And she said, well, who is this? What's this? You haven't told me about this. I want this too. So then he explained to her. So she went to Simantadweep. She was doing her austerities. And then Sachidananda Gaur Hari, he appeared to her. And she took the dust from his lotus feet and put it in her simanta, in the part of her hair. And so it became Simantadweep. And here was the liberation of Chandkazi here. Kolavecha Sridhar Maharaj's pastimes are there. And he was so dear to Mahaprabhu. Remember, they had such playful pastimes. He was a cowherd boy, actually. And they would be playing, and and Mahaprabhu would come and steal his banana. And he was really poor, but he was selling banana flowers and bananas, and and the money, he got a little bit of money. He'd spend half the money worshiping the Ganga, and the rest he would somehow survive on. And Nimai loved Kolavechishir. So he loved to fight with him. He'd come in and steal everything, and Kolavechishir, what do you do? I'm so poor, why are you doing this? Go steal from someone else. And Nimai would say, I have to worship the Ganga. And he says, well, I am the husband of the Ganga. Oh, no, Vishnu, he'd get, no. And Nimai would say, oh, wait till you see. One day you'll understand. And they would fight and fight like this, and they loved it. Kolavechishir there in Simantadweep, right? And later when Gohari was giving prem, and he called for Kolavechishridhar, and he gave him prem, and he asked him what was his heart's desire. He said, just let me always have these pastimes with you, Nimai. Always, I want to always be in these wonderful, wonderful, intimate pastimes. Also in Simantadweep is where it's situated, because everything is in Navadvip. All holy places, everything is there. That is where Purushottam Kshetra is, Jagannath Puri, Jagannath Balaram Subhadra. That's where that is, and that's where these pastimes of Mahaprabhu is there. And then you go to Godrum Dweep. Who is there? Sarabi Devi. And who was she with? Who brought her? Who came with her? Indra, he had also committed big offense. And he was really nervous. Even though Krishna had forgiven him, he was still really nervous. So he came with Sarabi Devi, and they went to Sarabi Kunj, and they did austerities, and Gaurhari appeared to them also. He appeared like this and gave them mercy and said, okay, in my manifest pastimes, you will also be there and you will witness my pastimes. Like this. This is Sarabi Kunj, and this is also the place, what? Very important place. The place of Nitai Gaur, the marketplace of the holy name. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has revealed this is where Nitai Gaur, just for your Shraddha, will give you the holy name with prem. Such an important place. And right nearby, Swananda Sukhada Kunj of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, which is Nandagram actually. All the places, like in Simantadweep, you have Mathura, Beovan, different things. In Mayapur Antardweep, you have Gokul, Mahavan. And in Godrum, you have Nandagram. And also there, very important place, Nishringapali. And it's been explained that in Vraj, everyone goes to Govardhan to have their desires fulfilled, to take shelter. Well, in Navadvip, everyone goes to Nishringapali and takes shelter of Nishringadev. Everyone goes there. And he can clear our offenses. He can clear our path. So our path becomes clear in bhakti. And so, moving on here, then we go from there to, and in the Navadvip Bhava Taranga of Bhakti Vinod Thakur explains that Nrsingadev actually bestows a mercy on the yatris, on the pilgrims, to attain Radha and Krishna in Navadvip. So that's interesting. Nrsingadev, he can give mercy of Radha and Krishna also and help us. Then we have to quickly go, it's getting late here, to Majjandweep. And in Majjandweep, also here, they're the 7 rishis. What is it, Marichi and I forget who. Anyhow, they wanted mercy. They wanted to get mercy. And so they go to Brahma, their father, and he says, you go to Navadvip. And so it's also Brahma. He's saying, you go to Navadvipa, you stay in Navadvipa, and you chant the holy name, and surely you will get the mercy. So they came. This is before the pastimes of Satchidananda Gaurhari. And Satchidananda Gaurhari appeared to them because of their sincere chanting. And he appeared at midday, and so it's called Madhyandvip, the middle, like this. Also there, all the demigods are there chanting Hare Krishna. And that place is also called Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is there. Namasharanya is there. Puskar is there. Amazing. This is Madhyandvip. Then you have, what? Panchaveni. Panchaveni. And there you have the Ganga with the Mandakini, the Alakananda, and what's the other one? Oh, Saraswati is there. And Jamuna, along with Bhogavati and Manasaganga. If you take bath there, everything. It says if you happen to pass away there, you surely go back to Vaikuntha. And then you go to Koladweep. Koladev appeared there. This is called Gupta Vrindavan, Gupta Govardhan. You have Champahati, you have all these places. And it's also the most important place, Aparad Bhanjan Pat. This is where aparads, Mahaprabhu, he forgave the aparad of Gopal Chakravarti? Gopal Chakravarti, who had offended Srivas. That's where he pardoned all the teachers and all the students who had offended him. When he came as sannyasi, he excused Devananda Pandit. So we should go there and roll in the dust and pray for forgiveness for all of our offenses that we have done knowingly or unknowingly. Aparad Bhanjan Pat. There. It's where the Devananda Gaudiya Mata is, actually. Yeah. And then we move on to Ritu Dweep, Radhakund, Shamakund. And what is there? Vijayanagar. Vidya, knowledge. So who is the presiding deity there, actually? Who is Vidya? That is the name for Srimati Radhika. Srimati Radhika and her Sakis actually are the head of that school. You see? Because all knowledge actually comes from Srimati Radhika. Prem Guru. She's a guru of Prem. So we roll in the dust there too. And we pray that we don't ever become covered again by avidya, isn't it? Then we go on to Janu Dweep. This is Janu Muni. And of course the Ganga comes and he swallows her and she comes out as Janavi. And there's Bhishma, her son. Bhishma, one of the Mahajans there. And he gives so much transcendental knowledge. What does he tell Bhaktivinoda Thakur? He tells Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is in Navadvipa Dham, he says, as long as you have this material body, you just do Bhakta Seva, Harinam, Jugal Bhajan. Simple. This is what, but you have to become fixed in Bhakti Tattva, the principles of Bhakti, and in practice of Bhakti, your sudden Bhakti. Become fixed in that and become aloof to sense gratification.
This was told by?
This is told by Bhishma in Janu Dweep to Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Navadvipa Dham. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur going on Parikrama himself, his Bhav Parikrama of Navadvipa. And he says, and by the power, the merciful power, the great power of the Nam, Dham, and the Bhaktas, you stay far away from asat sanga, bad association. And by staying in the Dham, performing like this, very quickly your spiritual revelation will come. Very quickly. Because in Navadvipa, everything is purified very quickly. Then you go to Modadruma Dweep. Sita Ram, Lakshman, Lakshmi Narayan, Arkadev, the sun god, Mahatpur, the Pandavas, so many. And there, Bhaktivinoda Thakur receives what? Mahaprasadam. Gaur Mahaprasadam from Draupadi. And immediately his heart. And from there, he goes to Rudradweep. And who does he meet at Rudradweep? Shambhu. Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, the highest Vaishnava. And everything is purified. No desire for bhukti, which is sense gratification. No desire for bhukti, liberation. Everything is gone. And Shambhu, Sadashiva, he gives him his mercy and he says, go to Vrindavan. See, now qualified for Vrindavan. Also Nityananda in the Navadvipa Mahatmya tells Jiva Goswami, who he took on Perkama after, now you're qualified, go to Vrindavan. Now that you have the mercy of the sadhus, the Gaur Bhaktas, the mercy of Gaur Dham. It's Gaur's desire that you go to Vrindavan. So now you're qualified. Now this is sense gratification is gone, everything, you go to Vrindavan. And you meet Rupa and Sanatan. So the Jiva meets Rupa and Sanatan in Vrindavan and becomes part of the family of Rupa and Sanatan by the mercy of Navadvipa Dham and the Navadvipa Vasis, like this. And we become qualified gradually under the shelter of Rupa and Sanatan, what? To taste Braj Ras and to serve Braj Ras. And our spiritual identity becomes manifest. Rupa, Sanatan, Raghunath, they give us that mercy. And so our Siddhadeya becomes manifest. And we enter into the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. After having thoroughly attained the mercy of Navadvipa Dham, Navadvipa Chandra, Sachinandan Gaurhari, all the Navadvipa Vasis, like this, our heart is purified. And we've come to understand no more sense gratification. Everything for the pleasure of Krishna, like this. And what is our sambandha? Our sambandha is, I am the servant of Krishna. Of course, higher than that, I am the maidservant of Srimati Radhika. The process, chanting Hari Nam, Bhakti Yoga, the goal, Prem Seva. Navadvipa Dham ki jai. Navadvipa. Gaur Bhaktas ki jai ho. Yeah. So, I don't think we have time for Madhurya Kadambini today. Okay.
Still we have like 18 minutes.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because we have 42
We started,
minutes.
okay.
But after you,
Uh-huh.
because we started.
One question.
Okay, we have a question
I
here.
just want just a factual question. Madhudvip, who was the personality?
What's that?
Madhudvip, who was the personality?
Oh, in Madhudvip, we had the 7 sages. Their names are, let's see here, and sometimes they're listed different, but in here, Madhudvip, here it said they are, you're talking about Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulaha, Kratu, Pulasta, and Vashishta. That's who they approached their, it says their grandfather. But I thought he would be more like their father. Anyhow, their grandfather, Brahma. And they wanted to know how to do bhajan. So he told them, go to Navadvipa. And just by living in Navadvipa, the Dham herself will give you mercy. See, this is the thing. The Dham is not as us as conditioned souls see it. It's not just earth, water, fire, air, ether. It's not an unconscious, entity. No. The Dham is transcendental, ever alive. Sat, Chit, Ananda, full of transcendental knowledge, full of transcendental existence. She is a person. Vrindavan is a person. And in Navadvipa, she's showing her personality as the most compassionate. Like this, she's saying, come, here you can taste. Here you can know, oh yes, this is very sweet. And you can tell others about it. Navadvipa Dham, Gupta Vrindavan, like this. So we go there. But if we go with material consciousness, not remembering the sambandha, I am a servant of Sachinandan Gaur Hari. With Sachinandan Gaur Hari, we approach him with dasya. I am your servant. You do not approach him with Madhurya ras. Even Vatsalya, only Sachi Mata and Jagannath Mishra. Not even with Sakya, dasya bhav. We approach. This is how we've been taught by Rupa Goswami. All of the Gaur Bhaktas teach us. You approach by dasya ras, Mahaprabhu. Of course, some have a friendly relationship with Nitai. These are the Gopas in Vrindavan. They have friendly relationship with Nitai. But with Mahaprabhu, it's dasya ras. And when one perfects his relationship with Mahaprabhu and his bhajan under the shelter of Mahaprabhu and the shelter of Swabdamda, Rai Ramananda, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, then what happens? Automatically, naturally, Mahaprabhu reveals himself as Radha and Krishna. It will happen naturally. We don't have to do some artificial mind jugglery, trying to understand how Mahaprabhu is Radha and Krishna. No, naturally, he will manifest, because then we're qualified. If we try and worship Radha and Krishna before we're qualified, then what happens? We become artificial. It becomes cheap, and this is called sahajya. There are many groups, unfortunately, in our line and in other lines, that take the process very cheaply. And they don't follow the instructions, they don't have proper sambandha, and they try and worship Gaurahari in Madhurya Ras. And there's a group, Gauranga Nagaris, and many other groups also. This is not bona fide, this is not accepted by the bona fide followers of Sachinandan Gaur Hari. No. He is not come to be the enjoyer of the gopis in this form. He is in the category of a devotee. He's come as a devotee himself, not as the enjoyer. This is Krishna in the mood of a devotee, giving service himself like this. So if we approach him as the enjoyer Krishna, that breaks his mood. He becomes very disturbed. He doesn't like this. So how can anyone ever attain residence in the Dham or attain the favor of Sachinandan Gaur Hari by disturbing him? No, it's not possible. You see? So we approach him as he's given the method through his devotees who have told us. You serve, like in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Everything's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Everything's in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Everything, how to approach Mahaprabhu, how to serve Mahaprabhu, who is he? And what happens, you read in the Chaitanya Charitamrita with Mahaprabhu himself, he's come as a devotee to teach us how to do bhajan. And we have to do bhajan in the mood of separation. That's what he was doing, acute separation, especially in Puri. He was feeling so much separation. But what would happen in that separation? He would become so deeply absorbed in the name. Swab Damodar and Rai Ramananda, they would be chanting to him, singing the songs of Vijapati, Chandidas, the verses of Bilva Mangala Thakur, the verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Jayadev Goswami, like this. And he would become so absorbed and so internal that he would be in Vrindavan. And he would see the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Because when he came out of his absorption, he would say, "Oh, where have you brought me? You brought me back. Why? I was with Radha and Krishna. I was serving them." This is a process. We deeply chant. We hear the verses of the previous acharyas like this. And ultimately, Radha and Krishna will manifest at the proper time. Automatically. This is the level of bhav. But if we try and imitate this at the level of nishta, or even just shraddha, then this is sahajya, taking the process cheaply. Trying to taste ras on the platform of unripe shraddha. If we don't have ripe shraddha, see, shraddha is the beginning and it ripens, sadhu sangha ripens into nishta, ruchi, ashakti, and bhav, and then it ripens more and more into prem. But if our shraddha has not reached that level, at least of bhav, it's unripe. And then you can't taste ras, actually. This is just some artificial mental speculation. You see? So there are some groups that try and do this. And they preach this. They say the followers of Mahaprabhu, they don't know anything about ras. They're dry sticks. You know, they just know philosophy. Yes, really. We're the real knowers. We're the tasters of ras. And they can easily cry and roll in the ground. But most of them, after a while, they have some kind of connections, illicit connections with a man or a woman. And because they still have so much sense gratification desires in their hearts. And so then they try and say, oh yes, to follow Parakiya Bhav, you have to have a Parakiya partner in your bhajan. Yes, this is going on in Vrindavan, this is going on in Navadvipa, this is going on all over. And this is why our acharyas, they warn us, don't go outside of the line of Rupa Goswami, don't go out of the line of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta, because you will get cheated. You will get so cheated. I can't even describe to you some of the processes that go on. They're so disgusting. In the name of bhajan. Just disgusting. Yeah, deviation. But that's how Sahajas are better than Mayavadis. So it's all, you know, as Sahajas, if they're lucky, they'll meet a pure devotee. They'll start to get purified by serving him. And then they'll come to understand the truth, and they'll give up their deviation, and they'll come into line, into the proper line of Rupa Goswami, like this. If you go a little bit this way, a little bit that way, you get cut. But Mahaprabhu and Nitai are very, very, very merciful. Even if you just chanted their names, they're going to help. They will help. They will send help. Like this. Because most of the sadhus are still chanting Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. So the offenses aren't taking so much into account with Nitai Gaur. But still, the example is Jagai Madai. Once you come to understand the truth, you have to give up your previous ways. That's what Nitai and Gaur told Jagai Madai. Give up, don't ever do this again. So if we've been a Sahajya, Maya, whatever, once we come to know the truth, we have to give it up and never do it again. That's the qualification. To get the real mercy, and for the mind to become purified, because until the mind is purified, we know from the song, Garanga Bolite Habi, unless your mind is purified, you cannot come to Braj. You'll be on the net of Maya, on the surface of Braj, and you will not be in Braj. Like this, no real sambandha, no abhideya, no prayojan, nothing. Sense gratification. And then if you're really fortunate, you'll get to be a pig or a dog or a hog, you know, and eat the dust and get purified by the dust of Vrindavan. And then in your next life you get another chance. Yes. This is serious. Serious. It's serious. Nitai Gaur are serious. They're very merciful, but they're serious. Give up sense gratification. That's in the song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Make Krishna the center of your life. Enter the family of Krishna. Have a sambandha with Krishna. But give up all your anachar. You have to have sadachar, proper behavior. Then jivadoy, harinam, sarvadharma sar. But you have to give up your bad behavior. No sense gratification. And that means all kinds of lusty dealings with others, either gross, any kind of gross lusty dealings, or subtle lusty dealings. One has to give up lust. I am the center, I'm the enjoyer. No. This is the example of Krishna who came as a devotee. Sachinandan Gaur Hari. He did not ever have lusty affairs with anyone. Even his two wives, that was devotional service. You know, it was a service. Vishnu Priya in Maha Vipralamba. Right. Lakshmi Priya, even in Vipralamba, when he went off preaching, she gave up her life. And they were just serving him. Pure prem. So he was serving the devotees. Service. No lust. No envy. Nothing. That's why when you finally make it to the school of Rupa and Sanatan, when you've gotten purified, you know, we finally can enter the part of the school of Guru Tattva that's Nitai, that's Rupa and Sanatan. The first teaching, Upadeshamrita. Control the tongue, control your speech, control your mind, control your belly and your genital. That's the first teaching. And then it's only 11 verses, right? 11. Now what's favorable, what's un... Finally at the end you reach Srimati Radharani and Radhakund in 11 verses. Not very difficult. Not very difficult. Very quick. But the first one, Vacho Vegam, is so difficult just to get that one down. Very, we talked about that. Not criticizing, not fault finding, not just gossiping. Even if you aren't, just gossip, just mundane talk. To give that up is almost impossible for us without extraordinary mercy. So we go to Navadvipa and we roll in the dust of all the Navadvipa-vasis and we beg for the mercy to have no desire but to chant the glories of Krishna. Krishna Nam, Krishna Guna, Krishna Leela. Nothing. This is it. They become absorbed in Harinam, Harikatha. Nothing else. And we don't want to hear anything else either. Navadvipa Dham, please, Kripa Karo. Navadvipa Vasis, Kripa Karo. Ganga Devi, Kripa Karo. And who do you have? Yogamaya there is Prodamaya. And Gopishwar is Vrida Shiva, Kshetrapal Shiva. Tulsi Maharani. Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Shipdascha Kamari Teranga Majay Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prabhanya Vrinde Namaste Charanada. Every home in Navadvipa has Tulsi. And by the mercy of Nitai, Tulsi has gone all over the world. Tulsi is everywhere. When I was in Hawaii, visiting a devotee friend of mine, she of course has many Tulsis. And up the street, some lady, I think she was Chinese, not a devotee, her whole place was full of Tulsis. All over the world, Tulsi is everywhere. And by Prabhupada's mercy, Bhagavad Gita is everywhere in every language. Srimad Bhagavatam, Harinam Prasadam is everywhere. So we take shelter and we follow the process without duplicity. We give up duplicity. And we try and follow the process honestly. And when we fall down, we beg for forgiveness. This is what we're learning from Madhurya Kadambini. When we make mistakes or when we make offenses, anything, we repent, we lament, and we beg forgiveness, and we take shelter of Harinam. And we feel ourselves, actually the only way we can be in Navadvipa really is Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarodapi Suhisnuna, Manina, Manadena, Kirtaniya, Sadahari. If we actually begin to feel lower than the straw in the street, worthless, so tolerant. Even a tree, when somebody comes to cut it down, doesn't stop giving its fruits and flowers, doesn't protest. And giving all respect to others because we know Krishna's there. Actually, everyone's a Dham because Krishna's there, Super Soul's there, and we don't want any respect. Then we can live in the Dham. And no false ego. I am the servant. Okay, we have to stop here. I am the servant. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not this. I am the servant. Of the servant, of the servant. Of who? Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Das Honor Das. Who is the servant of Sachinandan Gaur Hari. Okay. Jai Shri Shri Guru Garanga. Navadvipa Dham ki jai. Navadvipa Parikama ki jai ho. Ganga Devi ki jai ho. Sachinandan Gaur Hari Nitai Gaur. Okay.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaur,
Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Ho. I wanted to say one last thing that came to my mind, I forgot. In the talks in the Srimad Bhagavatam in 5th canto, here you go, Bhagavatam is Prema Pamartha Mahan. It's the Amal Purana. 5th canto, Jad Bharat talking to King Rahugana. He explains how one can know the absolute truth, and the only way one can know the absolute truth is by bathing, having abhishek in the foot dust of the great devotees. And this is Navadvipa, the foot dust. So by bathing in this dust, this is the only way we'll know the absolute truth. And in Vrindavan, the foot dust of the devotees, we'll get to know the absolute, most secret truths. Haribo, Haribo. Abhishek, Abhishek of the foot dust of the great devotees. Haribo.